Can everyone see
Yes.
my screen? Okay, perfect. Um, we were just, I was, as you can see, I was in the environment, so I had head out and start fresh here. But MetaViewer, we've been around 47 years, and we have really been focused on GP for well over 20 years now. And as we make that shift to everything being cloud-based and going over to D365 BC or FNO, GP is still our bread and butter, and where we definitely learned everything that we could about AP automation as well as just overall document management. And so with MetaViewer, you not only get that AP management tool, but you also get the document management capabilities to be able to have everything packaged all in one nice area when not just finance, but anyone in the back office is trying to find those documents, whether it be HR, legal, you have a bunch of engineering contracts. You can have all those stored within MetaViewer. So MetaViewer, it's a role-based system. So depending on your role, you're going to have various different views, different capabilities, different access. But we're going to start off today in our role, our Julie role. And so that's our AP clerk. So when you're coming in to MetaViewer start the day, you just want to see, you go to process, you see a 51 in AP prep. That's generally, unless you look at, there's anything that might be flagged for expedition, or if there was an area that was maybe, someone was really pressing on it. Because as documents come in, right, with our OCR capabilities run by our AI engine, intelligent recognition, as those documents come in, they're just ingested. All the metadata is taken off of the documentation, and then that's what's then brought into MetaViewer. MetaViewer then reaches out into GP, goes to the vendor card, and associates the document metadata with the vendor card, matches the thumbprint, and when that occurs, it then is able to pull in all of those automation rules that have already been put in place. So, whether it's how to GL code it, bypassing approvers, depending on what stipulations you put in place. But in this case, we're going to come in. We see we have a few things that are kind of a little bit long in the tooth. So the ones at the top of the page are the ones that are going to be sitting around the longest. So you just want to click on them and understand, okay, what is it that, what is it that was pulled? Make sure that everything is, correct. So as you go down here, you go down to your left-hand side, you can see that all the metadata has been pulled from the invoice. Anywhere on the invoice that is highlighted in yellow is going to correlate with anywhere over here on the left that has the little magnifying glass. That's your way of being able to just say, oh, invoice number, where was that pulled? And then it just kind of, it isolates it and shows you over in the main screen so that you can see. That would then be the only thing that is highlighted. That's just me having fat fingers, so excuse me on that. And so you can just see, it pulls you over the invoice number. And now, had that have been wrong, you could then just go up here to other, and you would just send it for training. I mean, the AI is 99% of the time accurate. I was saying 100%, but my boss tells me there's liability if you use the word 100%. So I don't want to say 99% accurate. But you might have to train something one time if there's multiple invoices coming in that are meant to be parsed into different departments. But it is really impressive, actually, its ability to know what that document's associated with. So as you go through, your AP clerk's going to just quickly make sure, okay, everything is it's matching up. Then you just send it for coding. Now that's, of course, if it's a non-PO. If it's a PO, it's going to come in. You're going to make sure the metadata is extracted, and then it's going to do a three-way match within GP to make sure that your purchase order and your receipt of those items is all occurred. As long as that is in cohort and everything is in concert, then it will get moved, sent right to GP for you to post for payment. If it's not, if you want to short pay, you're only going to half pay because maybe you've only received half of the items, then you can still go through the same process. So you come down, you want to understand just what was on the invoice. Here's the joke: what account are we going to ship it? Are we going to charge this to? So we can go repairs and maintenance expense. That should just it automatically populates your description. You'll notice that there's 0 here. If you wanted to go and say, if you had another line item, or if in GP you were you saw that there was a bit of let's go over here. You saw there was a bit of a round, an issue, right? GP, we all know there's the rounding error. And so we even have the tab built in, and you can click on rounding if you just need to add that extra line item to offset the 1 cent, and it might have rounded up or down. However, that's not today's example. So maintenance, and then as long as you got 0, you can just say it's been coded, and then it's going to go for approval. When it comes for approval, we will just send it off to one approver. Now these approvers can be pre-baked in, and so you'll have the approver already set up within the account, and depending on the invoice and what it's representing, those approvers can be changed. But if you wanted to change it as a one-off, or depending on the dollar value, you can also do that. So here we're just going to set it up as the controller. So from here, one approver, and we're going to send it for approval. So that gets sent for approval. And then it just brings right into the next invoice to start, processing our way through. So let's hop back to search results. I mean, that was just, a quick way of seeing the workflow, data extraction, verification, coding, approval, and away it goes. So we'll jump into what to go and approve that document in just a moment. Let's hop over and have a look at try this one. That's interesting. Like, now I know what you mean about the demo gods coming in. So again, we'll hop over to this invoice. Again, we're just making sure the metadata is all accurate, that it's all come in, invoice number matches. As long as everything is matching, then again, you can just send it off you can save it or code and reconcile it. But it's telling me, okay, there's a field that's in there. And so what is that type? So why is that? Let's have a look. It says payable type. And here's why. So there's an order number, right? There's not a purchase order number, but there's an order number. And so with that order number, they put it in a PO reference. But when we reach into GP, we can't find that PO. So in order for us to move forward with it, we would put it as a non-PO invoice, right? Or you would just move past the document and wait for that PO to come in to your ERP, but that would be a bit backwards if you're doing it that way. Hey, we all do things a little bit differently. So it doesn't let you move forward without classifying is it going to be a PO or a non-PO when there is an order number present. So now by doing that, I can just save it or code and reconcile it. I'll save it so we can just move to the next document. Let's just try just for fun. See if this one's going to work this time or if there's still an exception error. There you go. So, the one-time error is now fixed, and we're able to go through and code that one. Now you'll see that it's as easy as just moving through with your arrows. Go from one document to the next, but you can also then go from multiple. Right here, I'm going back to my search results because there's certain AP invoices I'm looking for. But if you just wanted to go through the process, you can just keep clicking. As you move through, it just brings you down the list. So over here on the right-hand side, you'll also see our full audit trail. The audit trail this is where we are keeping notes of everything that's happened within the invoice. How the invoice came in, the data extraction. You see that this one, right, you couldn't find a purchase order. So we're back to the one that we were just in. But then in calling out that there's no purchase order, then we do the data extraction, and it's now ready for verification. So now that it's come back here, right, we have to just, again, there's an order number, no payable type. So we're going to go ahead and put non-PO invoice, and we'll just save that and move forward. It was an invoice I was trying to find, but I'm having a little bit of difficulty in real time. So I will just jump over and we'll show you what it looks like when you go and see. Here's a PO invoice. So non-PO and PO, we still allow this, to be able to move through. I think it's always good when I do this in the demo that it does flag if something's been processed before, but it does call out like this. I think this is a duplicate because you don't want to be processing invoices for a second time, having that second payable. That's a nightmare trying to, get that money back from a vendor. Let's just avoid that. So, within the demo, I've used the same invoice a few times. So it does kind of flag the fact that, hey, this might be a duplicate. As you go through, but it flags it, and then it'll let you still move through, but it won't let you, once you go to post it to GP, it'll get stopped because it'll be recognized as already within GP. And it's recognizing the PO number that's found within GP here, right? So it knows that it's a PO invoice. And so it is allowing us just to keep making sure that all the data is there, and we just go forward to coding and reconciling. But this is what I was indicating, is that it'll allow you to look at it and see the metadata, but because there's already been a payable that's been processed, it doesn't let you go through. So it makes sure that even if an employee just, no, I'm pretty sure this isn't a duplicate, this system's wrong, it's not going to let you push it through. You're going to have to say, you can go to bypass processing, but then that's going to be captured here in the audit log. And so you'll know which employee kind of didn't really follow the appropriate steps. It's not the reason for the audit log by any means, but it is there just to make sure that, hey, like if it says a duplicate, maybe it's best just to kind of, step away and just send it back to purchasing, tell them it's a duplicate, and let's move on to the next one. So now, right, let's go and look at some it was a little bit larger where you might have more than one approver that's going to be part of that invoice, or there's going to be more than one step that's needed. So we'll jump back. And where should we go? I know. We can go here for sweet oranges for 89. So the sweet oranges, right? We have an invoice comes in. It's a non-PO. They capture the data. It's a relatively larger number. So when we go to code and reconcile it, that part will be fine. But then when we are going to go and have approvers, and this one might go past the controller. So we can just throw it into an account. Just going to paste it in our savings account. It's coded. And this one's going to require two approvers. So the controller, because it's over that 75K mark, maybe the CFO. Let's send that for approval. So, and then it brings you just to the next document. But let's hop out of what Julie's doing. We'll hop over and see what those approvals look like. And so from there, we come here. We're going to log into Lisa. When you come in, Lisa doesn't have any really results in terms of approvals. We'll go jump in. Nope, there's no approvals waiting for Lisa. So she's not set up to be our controller, but let's go in and see what. So Lisa is our CFO, and that is so we have to go to Kathy first. Once we go to Kathy, right, it's not going to go to Lisa to approve until the next in the line of approvals has approved it. So by going in here to Kathy, we can see, okay, here's some of her approvals, right? Kathy's only in here just really kind of approving documents or pushing them along. So she has a very different view setup than Julie did. So here we come in, we see our favorite, data receivers here and our sweet oranges group. So let's move that one along so then we can go and see how it goes when it goes to the CFO. So she can see here that, what's happened within, check the journal log, see if there's any notes that have been made that aren't just like the general, moving through, no notes. So she's going to add one just saying, hey, Lisa, this is good to go. This is good to move forward. I mean, just in case the CFO is wanting just to make sure that Kathy has had a look at that. So there's that. And we're going to say approve. And we'll go see how the CFO approves it. And then after that, that'll be it for me today. So let's hope the CFO approves this invoice so we can move on. So that's just saying, hey, there's nothing, we're at the bottom of the list, you want to go back to the top. So we have a few more there, but we'll save those for another day. So we'll hop out of Kathy and we'll hop in with Lisa. And now there should be, notice there's one green bar there because there's one approval waiting. And so this is the one, you see there's a note from Lisa, no, a note from Kathy saying, Lisa, this is good to move forward. So Lisa's gonna say, okay, wow, 90,000 on oranges, they better be delicious. She's gonna approve it. And now it gets sent, that's the end of her approvals. So now it's been sent back for final review, just for it to be able to say, hey, this looks good, let's push it up into GP. Again, this step sometimes people think is a bit tedious, but we can automate everything I showed you today. If I just automated it, then I'd have nothing to demo. So we can have all those steps automated till you get to this point, and then you just come up here to final review. And final review right here. And you can move it forward. But that's the end of my time. And there it is, sweet oranges, just to kind of close it up. So, you know, a sweet way to end my 15 minutes, Amy. I really appreciate it as always. You know, the buzz is always real when we have one of these, and I thank you for the time. And any questions, happy to go to the chat, or please reach out if you have any questions at all. Want to understand how MetaViewer can help simplify your everyday.
Thanks, Eric. There is a question for you in the chat. So if you could go answer that, that would be great.
I can do that.